Okay, guys, let's start with our object JavaScript, right? Last time I think we left one on this A. Okay, let me. I don't have to. Let me open the question, right? JavaScript. Where is that? JavaScript, and go to the basic programming objects and the first one. I think there was the last question left. Last one, right? This one. So max object value, and I copied some of the question here already. So max object value, this is the one, right? Write a function max object value that accepts an object. Okay, our function has argument object. Okay, what the question is saying, right? You should return the array. Basically, in that array, you have the property and the value, right? The highest value. Okay, from this object you find the property which has highest value and return that in form of array. You put the property at the first index, zero index, and the value in the second one, right? And then return that one. Okay, so it's easy to understand. Let's try to solve this. Max object value function, right? I have object. My data is what? Object. Okay, now in our the snippet, right, there was the way to write a for loop, correct, for object. So what was that? For, right? For let's call let maybe property, right? We call it property. What was that? In object, right? Obj. Can I write like that? And if I console log here, let's console log, right? And see what I can get. Okay, console dot log property. This is the variable property, right? It will loop through this object and try to get me each property one by one. So if I run this code, I should get all the property, right? So you can see here I get A, B, C, D, E, right, until E. Okay, now when I have property, I can access the value easily. Property, basically object square bracket property, right? I can do object square bracket property. So I have access to property and the value. So let's say I get A and 5, right? Can I like have a variable, right, where I can store this 5 and compare with the same value all the time, like in every loop, every item, right? I'm going to compare that. What I mean by that, so let me, if anything you want to store, right, always keep it outside of for loop. So let's call it uh, key, maybe key, right, equal to empty string, because we have A, B, C, D, right, something like that. Let's call it empty string. I'm going to store key or property in the key, right, and the value. So let val, call it value, right, equal to 0 for now. 0, this is a number. Okay, so here now what I can do is I will write a condition. If let's call it, because I just need to check value, right? If this value is less than property, right? Correct? Not property, but object property, because I need to get this value. Okay, 5. So how I can get that? Obj square bracket property. When you have variable, when you have property or this key in form of variable, you must put in square bracket like this, right? If that is true, let's say this val is less than this one, right? Let's say right now 0. 0 is less than 5, it will be true, right? So in that time I'm going to say val equal to object obj square bracket property, right? I can add that, and same time I will call the key also and add the property there, right? Because I have the key here already. I have the key, right? This property, just add there. In the end, okay, in the end I will have left with the highest value, and that's what I'm going to return, right, in form of array, right? I'll just return the array. It is empty right now. I'm going to say key, right? Key comma value, and run this code and see what happens. So you get something like this. See? So I hope it's clear. Let's move to the next one, right? Now the first one is character count. Character count, right? Basically we have the string as an argument. We have to return the new object, and then inside that object, right, we're gonna add the property. Okay, this is character, right, as a property, and then its frequency, like how many e or v are there, right, add it as a value. Okay, so I have 2e, so e colon 2, right? So that's what we have to do. So let's go back and try to solve this. B frequent, our character count, this is the one, right? Yeah. So let character count equal to function, right? And I have a string. Excuse me. So of course, when I have a string and I need to go find each character, I need a for loop, right? And my answer is the object. So why not I create like a new object variable, empty object for now, empty object. Okay, and I'm going to loop through my string now. So let I equal to 0, I is less than this string dot length, right? And I plus plus, we have done this many times. So I can get a character easily, right, of str square bracket I. So it will give me, first time I will get e for index 0, right? Now I'm gonna check, because in this object might be e is already there, maybe not, maybe already, just assume there is already e, right? Then what you gonna do? You just have to increase the value. If there is no e or no property, right, then what you will do? You gonna add it as a new property, correct? So we have to think like that. Now what I'm gonna do, how I check now, right, if my this character has is already added as a property inside this object, how I gonna check now? Just give me a second, guys. Click. All right, so let's continue. How we gonna add this inside the object, right? But before that we have to check. So when you check, what we do, we write a condition, right? If this new object, and there is a function, built-in function dot has own property, right? So this is the first time you can hearing about this function, has own property, and you pass this character. Okay, what this will do is it will check if this character is as a property inside this object. If it is, then it will give true, right? Let's say I have already, then what I will do, right, then I'm gonna, so how we add the anything inside, like this, right? So let's say it's already there, so I'm just gonna change the value. So new, like e equal to, right, basically this will give me the e, whatever inside here, like this property e equal to whatever the value there, right? So now I'm gonna get this value plus 1. Can I do that? Else if it is not inside already, right, then again same thing, you just put 1 there, then so equal to 1, right? If already this character is already inside this object, then you have to call the value and assign the new one, right, to that e. Else, if this is first time, then you go else, just add 1 to the e, right, e colon 1. So this loop will continue until the last item of this string, and our work is done, right? Just return now, just go out of the for loop and return the new object, and let's see what happens. So we have to check, okay, we have to check if it is already in the object or not. This is always when you have object, right, and you need to check inside. to update the value, make sure you check, right? Make sure you do something to check if the object is the property is already there or not, and then you try to increase it or do whatever you have to do. But depends on the question, okay? But most likely you have to do something like this always. Okay, now next one is what? Let's go to the next question. uh, yeah, letter mapping, right? So we have two value, string and the object, okay, passed to our function letter mapping. Now we have to return the new string, right? This is the new string, and that string is coming from this one, okay? So basically, okay, so this string character has been changed with a value, right? So let's say y matches here, right? Y, then I'm going to use its value and add to that string, right? So s, there is no property called s, so we just add s. Y is found, so I'm going to put I, right? So that is what the question is saying. Let's write a function and try to solve that. So string, what was that? Letter mapping. So let letter map equal to function, and we have a string and object, right, as our data here, string and the object, okay? So now I have to return new string, right? So let's do that. New string equal to empty for now, empty string, right? Next is my string will be all this, right? So I have to get each character. That means for loop again, because I'm gonna check if this character is present inside this object or not. If present, then I will try to get its value. If not present, then I'm just gonna add this string or this character to my new string, right? So that's the logic here. Let I equal to 0, I is less than str dot length I plus plus, right? And I'm gonna get the character, so let character equal to what? A string I. So I got the character from this string, right? A string, I got the character. Fine. Next, uh, yeah, next is what? I have character, I need to check inside the object. So again, checking is if. So if this object has the property, so has own property, and you're gonna pass that character, right? If something like s is not there, so you will get false. Y is there, you're gonna get true. So if you get true, then what you will do? Then you're gonna try to get its value, right, and put it in the string here. So string equal to new string, whatever in the new string, plus object square bracket character, right? So let's say y, object y, right? I'm gonna get I, and that I added to this new string, okay? Else, if in case of false, I'm going to call new string equal to whatever in the new string plus my character. Simple, add the character, and at the end you just return. After the for loop is complete, you just return your new string, and hopefully that should work, right? And you see, you just change all the property value inside my string. Okay, so let's look at the next question. What is that? Most common letter, right? Most common letter. Okay, so inside here, most common letter means what? Write a function most common letter that accept a string as an argument. I have a string. The function should return the character that appears most frequently in the string, right? You can assume that there are no ties. Okay, so the question is saying there are no ties. Fine. So you just return whatever is the like a what do you call that? Like the function like the letter, right? The highest occurring character, okay? Return that one. So E, how many times E are here? 1, 2, 3 times, right? Maybe P is 2 times. So you have to count all those, count the frequency of the character, and then find which one has the highest, right? So we have learned how to count the frequency, and also we have learned how to find the highest one, okay? Return the highest one, right? We have solved that already. I think in the A section we did, yeah. So let's solve it. It will be, we have to combine like two functions now together, right? So let most common so I have a string here, correct? Str. So first thing is I need to find the frequency. So what I will do now, let new object equal to empty for now, right? And for loop. So let I equal to 0, I is less than str dot length I plus plus, okay? And then again same thing, okay? So let's say character, right, equal to stri. I got the character. I will check if already inside here or not. So what is that? If this new object dot has own property, right? Has own, I hope P is not, I don't know if P is capital or not, right? Is that one? No, the key pair. I don't know which one was that. Okay, fine. If it get a if there is mistake, we can correct it, right? I don't know if that was capital or not. I forgot. Has own property, and I'm gonna pass this character, right? If that is true, then I will just call the new object equal to whatever in the new object plus 1, right? So new object is square bracket. I have to pass this character, guys. I cannot just call new object. Must be that property inside, right? Else, you're gonna say new object square bracket character equal to what else you can do? 1, right? Just add it 1 for now. So if I read, let's say console log this new object and see what we can get, right? This is just the one part, okay? New object, and see how it looks. So there is some error, okay? Because this I was, has own property. This will be capital P. So see, I get this number, right? I have this, the, what do you call that, object already here. This is the object, and now what I'm going to do with this object now, right? So after this, we can, like character count. So okay, that's what we have done, right? Max object value, this is the one, okay? So you can just copy this, right? Just copy that function, and how you're going to use two function, right? Let's see. So this function job is to basically return. So this time we're just going to return what value, right? The highest value, okay? I mean, even you don't need this key now. So that's it. So this function will return you what? The value only, okay? Just need value, correct? So what you're gonna do is call this function now here, right? You can call the one function inside another one, So just return, and whatever max. Okay, let's store in the variable, right? So let val equal to the value, right? Or not value, we are returning property, okay? Like E or whatever, right? What was the question? Let me check. Yeah, that's the property. So yeah, we will we will change it later, right? So let's call it key equal to, right? And I'm going to call this max value function here, okay? And I will pass my object, this object, new object, right? I'm going to pass this new object. Look at here. See, first thing what I'm doing, right? I'm creating this variable, correct? Then I have for loop. This for loop will do what? I'm going to add each character inside this object and count its frequency, right? Done. For loop will continuously run. Once it's done, right, then it will go here, call this function. Now it will call this function, right? And we are passing this new object to this function, and our function here is taking that object and value. Okay, so let me keep it the key also, right? Because we're going to return the key. Okay, so let key equal to right now empty, and then that function will just return the key, right? So we're going to have the key with highest value, right? We know that. And the reason we need this value because we have to compare to find the highest key. Okay, so it will return that key, right? It's going to return this key, the value like I or E or whatever, right? And going to be saved inside here in this variable, and you return that key. Okay, and let's see if this work, right? So this is called helper function. Okay, so F5, and we got I for the first one, S for the second, and E for the last one, right? See? So in this one, if you have any doubt, just let me later, right? I will explain again, okay? But when you understand this function, you know, like you have already object earlier, right? In this one, what we have done, we're just passing the object, okay, directly to this function. But this one has two functions. Our original function, whose job is just to create an object, right? And pass that object back to this function, okay? And we're gonna get back the result, right? It will return that key stored in a variable here, and we return that again. So step one, it will create this variable, then run the for loop, add all the property with its value, done. Then we call this function, passing that object. It will go here, it will process, right? Do all this process here, and finally return the result stored in this variable, and after we're going to return that. So that's the process. Okay, so let's go to the next one. What is that? Word replace, right? Yeah, let's solve this too. Word replace. So let's check that. Let's see, word replace here. So write a function word replace that accept a sentence string, right? So our function is accepting this sentence, okay? That is the first parameter, or we can call this the value, right? Argument. And then this will be the second argument, second value, the object, okay? Now this question is saying the accept a string, sentence string, and the object as an argument, okay? The function should return the new sentence, so we have to return the new sentence where the word that are key of the object, right? Okay, the key here. So like never. Okay, so never is going to replace with the value, right? Always. Like I always take nap during the weekend, right? Here during the day, and day is the property, so we just replace with the value weekend. So I always take nap during the weekend, okay? You get the idea. Now let's write a function, try to solve this. Word replace equal to function, and we have string, sentence, and then object, right? Two value. So we must create two parameter to store our data, okay? Now, right, before I think we talked about when you have a string like this and then you have to get each word of the string. What we do, split, right? So let array, and you will, when you split, you get array, right? So we know that str dot split and split in the space. Okay. Now we have array. What we're gonna do? Write a for loop for that array to get each word, right? I equal to 0. I is less than array dot length I plus plus, and then so if I say let word, right, equal to array I, what I get? I'm gonna get I in the beginning, right? Now I have word. I will check if this is the key inside here or not. So how I check? Again, if this object dot has own property like this, right? And you're gonna pass this word. Okay, if that is true, yeah, that is true, right? So what we're gonna do? That means this word is as a property inside this object, like never, day, right? You're gonna find sometimes this word inside this object. So I have to get this value and put it. Okay, I'm gonna return the new sentence, right? Yeah. So, and because I have this sentence inside the array right now, and I have in form of each word. Okay, so I must put in the array, right? So let's do that. Let array, or let's call it new and a result, right? Or maybe new string like that equal to, it is the array for now in the form of array, right? So I will call it new string dot push. So I'm gonna push this value, okay, because I found the word right inside this object. So value will be object square bracket word. Else if you don't find, then what you do? You just push that word in the new string dot push that word, right? Push it, just simple word, just push it to the new array, because we have to push it here. Like in the beginning you're gonna add I, then you're gonna add I never, right? What was that? I never. So you will get always, so you're gonna add here always, like that. Okay, keep adding, right? So in the end our array will be ready when the for loop is complete, right? Then you return it, return by combining or joining, right? New string dot join each word inside the array as a string, and you can do it by adding space, right? New, so this is array dot join empty space between each word. Okay, and you will get new sentence. And let's run this, right? See, I always take nap during the weekend. See that? It replaced already. Park a park is open, right? The park is closed, and we get a park is open, and you can see. So we managed to change the key value, right? The value for that key. Okay. So let's check the get average age, right? Get average age is here. So now I have the get average age function, and we pass this array of object. So we are passing an array of object inside our function. So that is still, this is array, right? Array, and then inside there is a each value is the object. Okay, now I have to get the age, right? So he's saying write a function get average age function that accept array of object representing the people. The function should return the average age of the people, right? Average age. Okay, so how many average means how the length, I can get the length 1 2 3 4, right? I just have to add each age now and then divide by 4 to get the average. Okay, so that's what it's gonna let get average age equal to function, and I have an array, right? Array here, because you have array. This is what we pass to the get average. So yeah, if I loop through this array, right? Let's do that. And I need to add the age. So let's call it total, right? equal to right now 0. Okay, I'm going to add each edge and put it here. For loop, let I equal to 0, I is less than uh, array dot length, right? I plus plus. Okay, now I know I just have to check the property as, right? And let obj, what I'm going to get object, right, from this array. Look at here, this array has an object, each value is an object. Index 0, in array I, index 0, I will get this object. Okay, I have this object, right, stored in object variable. Now I will call my total, right, plus equal to, or maybe total equal to total plus, right, and obj square bracket is, I just pass the age here. So age is not a variable. Okay, I must pass it like a string, right? You can do that, correct? Sum key, remember sum key equal to menu, there was a menu, right? The variable sum key. But right now I don't have age as a variable. This is just a key, right? uh, or I can do, like obj.age, I can do that also, right? Yeah, I can do that because age is already inside here. So that will get me the value, and every time, like object for index 0, index 1, 2, 3, whatever, right, I'm going to get each object one by one. So my total is ready when the for loop is finished, and then I'm going to return total divide by array dot length. So how many is, right? Average is divided by how many length, right? And hopefully that should be good enough. Let's check. So we get, yeah, so this is wrong. Okay, this will be 68 point, maybe 68.66. So you guys can correct it. Okay, save, right? Okay, done. So now in the C, how many 1 2 3 4, let's try to finish it, right? Let's see. Okay, go to the C. Write a function greatest population, right, that accept an array of country object as an argument, right? The function should return the name of the country that has the largest population. So again, same thing, we're going to loop through this array, right? We're going to get each object, and when you have object, right, basically we can have two variable again. The variable will be to hold the population, compare and add the largest one, and when you find the largest population, you also store the country, right? And in the end, you're gonna have the largest country with the largest population, so you can return that country. Okay, so greatest population, let's check that. Let greatest population equal to function, and we have array, right, pass to that function. So I need to return what? I need to return country, right, that is string, and also I need to compare the population. Okay, so I'll just use it as a variable right now with a 0 number, 0 value. Now I'm going to loop through the array to get each object. I can do that, right? Array dot length I plus plus, and then what else? So let object equal to array square bracket I, right? I have the object index 0, I will get this object. Okay, index 1, I'm going to get second one, 2, I'm going to get next one, 3, I'm going to get next one, right? So the loop will run, and I'm going to get each value from the array I have stored in this object, right? Each object. Now I will check if this object, basically I'll just call the population, right? If that population, okay, let's write it opposite way. I mean same thing, right? this object square bracket, right? And I will gonna get the population. Okay, whatever I get there is greater than the population on the top. If that is true, then I will just store, I'm just going to store the population, right? Population equal to object square bracket population, and also I'm going to store the country same time. Okay, so country equal to, from same object I will just call the country, right? Because I have property no country, I have the name. There is no country, right? It's the name. Okay, so we can call it object dot name. That is also fine, you know. Okay, something is not correct. Something object dot population, right? Because population, I don't have the population as a variable. Okay, I don't have. See, this population, it will get the population from here, right? And that will be wrong. Okay, so I'm gonna do dot population. I hope that is correct now. And it will also give me dot, because I don't have variable, this variable is something different. I hope that will not make a conflict. We need to talk in our advanced JavaScript, all these global variables, local variables, all those things, right? Object population, I'm gonna get the number, and that number I'm checking with my population here, so that is the result or the value, and that's the name, right? Yeah. So in the end, I'm gonna just return the country, right? My country gonna have the, the highest population country I will get here, right? Stored in this string. So let's run that. And yeah, I have Indonesia. The second one is Burma, right? Okay, good to go. What else we can do? What else? What is this? Pluck.js. Write a function pluck.js. Secret zipper. Okay, let's solve one more, right? And then we're gonna do this too tomorrow maybe. Block zipper, what it's saying? Okay, so I have this function block, and then we pass this object, the first argument, and the array with two value, right? Name and breed. I need to return the object, right? New object with this key only, and find the value right from here. Yeah, I think that should be easy enough. Let's try. Let block equal to function, and I'm gonna have the object as my first argument, and the second one is array. Okay, so it has just two items, right? I know that, so maybe I will not write a loop. I mean, you can just return simply the object, right? How you gonna return in one line? Return this object, right? And inside the object, I'm gonna need the property. Okay, so array. Basically, let's say, for example, you don't know how many items are inside this array, right? Right now we know there is only two. Okay, we know that with this, looking at this, right? But in the real test, you're not gonna get, like all the result, right? Like this. Okay, all the test case you will not see. You will just see one test case. So you don't know how many items are inside this array. So of course you have to write a for loop, right? So you have to write for loop. So okay, let's write for loop. So let new object equal to empty object, and for, right, let I equal to 0, I is less than array dot length I plus plus, and what gonna, so we're gonna get the word, right? Like name and whatever. So we're gonna create the object. So new object. So we have variable, okay? So let's do it like this. Let word equal to array square bracket I, right? So let's say I get name. Now what I need to do, need to add the property inside the new object, right? So new object is square bracket because it's a variable now, and equal to value, right? So value will be from object square bracket this word, okay? So let's say name, right? I'm gonna get this. So the name colon, this will be added. Next time I have the I, right? That will be breed. So again it will add the breed colon this value, right? It will add, and then finally you return that new object. Return that, and we should get that right answer. Make and model, make and model. Okay. So we have two left. We will try to solve that tomorrow, right? And then we're gonna do the. I think the next one is decomposition, right? Let me check. We will move to try to do the decomposition, right? Or nesting. There is a nesting about this will be mostly the array, right? So now we have good understanding an array. You know how you write like double array, right? How you solve problem with double array, okay? Nested array. So we're gonna solve that. Yeah, so let's do the uh, nesting start tomorrow, okay? Also we're gonna solve that remaining two, and then we're gonna move to nesting, and then finally we'll do the decomposition. And I think higher order I need to add a couple of in the higher order concept, no problem, right? Okay guys, so let me stop here for now.